And we're back on TSPN, and Chris Floyd,
good morning.
And I'm sorry you were in that outfit, but we already talked about that.
Yeah,
so
that's right. You and your Dodger blue.
We'll agree to disagree, huh?
Very good.
Okay, but we're going to talk this morning about the Gold Country Vintage Baseball League.
Right, the Gold Country League.
And obviously this is not a vintage outfit.
Correct.
But,
Yeah, this is not my official minor blue outfit.
Okay.
Right.
But I have seen the vintage outfits. They're pretty cool.
They are, aren't they? Very throwback to the 1880s.
Yeah, and some of the people that I know, some of the people that used to play, Dr. Carey played.
Yeah, he did. He started our league back 7 years ago.
And if I recall, he was in the outfield, wasn't he?
He was all over the field.
Okay.
He would pitch, he would catch, he'd be in the outfield.
But you guys, do you go down to Candlestick, or I still call it Candlestick?
Yeah, me too.
AT&T Park?
Yeah. We don't do that. We don't play down there. We've
I
played at
thought
the
you went
Rivercast,
down there
though.
one time, though, for something.
Well, in the Bay Area, we played the San Quentin Giants.
Okay.
In San Quentin Prison, we played them twice.
Really?
Yeah, we went in and they only play home games.
Now, are these guys actually inmates?
These are the inmates. Yeah, the inmates.
Almost like when Preston used to suit up and Argonaut High School used to go in and play.
Exactly, yeah.
Those were dirty games.
I'm sure. Yeah, as is San Quentin.
Yeah. Well, tell us how people can get involved in the Gold Country Vintage League.
We play every Sunday, usually at 2 fields here in Amador County and 1 field down at Rancho Murrieta, both at Argonaut and Amador High School. So on Sundays from about 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon or so, we have games going on out there. So if anybody's interested, our schedule is online at the Gold Country Vintage Baseball website, which is gcvbb.com.
Okay.
And they can go there, find our schedule, come out and watch a game.
People need to realize, though, that this is hardball, right?
It is. It's fast pitch. The ball itself is just a little different than a Major League Baseball in that it's basically hand-wound. It's got just a little bit of give to it, so it doesn't sting quite as much when it hits your hands, because you catch with what is essentially a garden.
That's it, huh?
A garden glove, yeah. It's pretty thin.
That's not much of a glove.
Right. So it's the rules of 1880, the equipment of 1880, and
the
it's
bats
a lot of fun. And the bats, generally the bats are no longer like today's manufactured bats. There's no cups on the end. They're thicker, they're heavier, maybe a little longer. It's like swinging a telephone pole.
Wow. And how many teams are involved in this?
We have 6 in our league this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
is that high, or is that?
Well, we started with 2 7 years ago. Dr. Carey formed the league 7 years ago, and we only had 2. And we grew from there. And this is our first season with 6. And the 6th team that just came in is from the Folsom area. So now we're expanding the league.
Tell us about some of the players involved here. I mean, obviously you're involved in local business here in the community.
Correct.
And most people are, correct?
Yeah, I think most of us are. We've all got some kind of job or occupation outside of this. Obviously, this baseball is just for fun. Most of us are in our 30s and 40s. We have some in our 50s and even one in our 60s. And it's a fun, competitive league. We go out to educate the public. That's our main goal, is to educate, put on a show. The gentleman's sport of baseball back in the 1880s was an opportunity for professionals, usually lawyers or doctors, to get together and play on their days off. And now that this league is showing what baseball in the 1880s was, it's a chance for people to see how it is compared to today. There's no logos. There's no cursing. Spitting is fined. Hustle is required. There's no jogging. The rules are a little bit different. So going out is like walking back in time.
Give us a couple of the rule differences.
Well, one of the first things that you realize when you go out there is that foul balls are not strikes. So if you got up to bat and you see a batter foul off 3 or 4 balls and then take a called strike, that's strike 1. So oftentimes people ask, isn't he out because he fouled off a couple of balls and then swung and missed maybe?
Right.
But no, that's his first strike. 7 balls to a walk instead of the traditional 4. Foul balls, if popped higher than the batter's head, that land foul and bounce in the air, can be caught on 1 bounce for an out.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So a foul ball that's going down the line, you see people hustling for it because they could catch it either in the air or on a bounce, and they're out.
Right.
So there's a lot of rules that are slightly different. Quick pitch especially. In today's baseball, the pitchers take their time on the mound to set a pace. And in doing that, it slows the game down. And in our league, once the pitcher gets the ball back, he can just fire it back into the plate again. So the batter, when they've entered the box, is live for the entire time they're up. There is no timeouts or stepping out of the box.
How fast are the normal pitchers here? What would you gauge it at?
Our league has at times thrown as high as 80 miles an hour, but we put a cap on it a couple of seasons ago for safety because we don't wear a batting helmet. So we cap the speed at 65 miles an hour.
Okay.
And we use the equivalent of a radar gun that's hidden in a camera box back behind the screen. And if a pitcher throws a pitch beyond 65, it's a dead ball. So the pitchers are limited, and after the pitcher throws 3 of those over 65, that pitcher can no longer pitch that day.
How do you know? How does the batter know that it's a dead ball?
We have an umpire behind the screen, basically a speed gun monitor, and that person is monitoring the speed of the pitch, and then make sure that that pitch is under 65.
Okay, give us a couple of the names of the locals that are involved in it.
Well, you know Mike. Mike
Daly.
Daly, yeah. Mike has been in our league since its inception, and on our league we've got Brian Hinton, Dan Duran, Steve King, a lot of the guys who have been around in this community now for several years,
Right.
and involved in vintage baseball.
Okay, give us either a phone number or a website again.
Our website is the best way to get a hold of us, gcvbb.com. That's Gold Country Vintage Baseball. And baseball back in the day was 2 words, baseball.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.